Just some poker action here. Some poker hero moves. I'm trying to advocate for the legalization of Texas Hold'em poker in as many countries as possible to increase the player pool in the poker economy. Try to make it so you could if you're a losing player, you'd get tax deductions, and if you're a winning player, then you pay your income tax, and then I'll be eligible for loans and cars and houses and stuff. Treat it like you're self-employed. And a lot of people are losing players, right? So if the government's getting taxes, then at the end of the year, the app would tell you how many taxes you paid. You file with your income taxes, and you might get a return. But it's mainly for the serious players, and it would make poker more reputable and more serious worldwide. Because it's they say it's you can learn it in a few minutes, but it takes a lifetime to master, right? Because it's really complex. Like, when you're playing poker at the casino, it's the only game where you're competing against the player, not the house. Like if you're playing against real opponents sitting down, like they do have a table game version of Texas Hold'em poker, but where the dealer plays, but you can't bluff the dealer, right? So that's not real poker. It's not even fun, right? Bluffing's this is the whole magic of poker. Texas Hold'em poker is you have 2 cards, you share 5 community cards, so your luck is less of a variant compared to other variants of poker. The more cards you have, the luckier your opponents could get. But being able to bluff, I could play horseshit like I am right now and still win with a hit in my hand. There's a big raise of 10 chips. Let's see what they do with this type of raise. Oh, they went way up there. So I got 2 folds. $9-10. This is very little hope. Impossible odds now. So that was just me being experienced with the hand, and so now that opponent's likely to go all in, so I'm gonna fold this time. Actually, I won't fold. I got a king, so I probably have him covered. Meaning, probably has a weak offer, and I have more chips than him, obviously. But he's gonna do the all-in move. Predictable. That's why Texas Hold'em's a winnable game, right? Because you're able to predict behaviors like that. Whereas with roulette, the ball's spinning, you chose a number, there's really no skill involved in it. It's all luck. Maybe slight skill in roulette because you can look at the board and make a decision what's more likely for red, black, under The lower numbers are the higher numbers group. But that's about it. Like, whereas in Texas Hold'em poker, you could bluff. Like with the 4-6, I was planning on bluffing, but I flopped it straight. It doesn't get any better than that. And they went all in. It was perfect. He's almost like an NFL player throwing the quarterback throwing the ball to himself. It's fairly cold for southern Ontario this time of year. Lots of players, so let's see what they do. So that's a pathetic bet. 20 chips when there's 690. So I'm trying to flush out a big hand. If not, I'm going to try to steal the pot away from them. Okay, good, no raise from the original raiser. I should have raised more because nobody folded so far. So they came out and bet right away. So it's unlikely that they have a flush draw now. How big is the raise? Okay, it's probably pretty big. Okay, I'm just gonna call it. I think this guy has an ace. Like this guy right there, I think he has an ace. And I'm not sure what this guy has. Did you want to like that?
Oh, thank you.
7-9, so he's hoping for an 8. So now he has 2 7s, 3 9s, and 4 8s. 9 cards. So I should have exhibited how poker's a skill. I put the guy on the ace, and it was a stronger ace than I thought. He had 2 pair, but now I know that against that opponent going forward, how they play, so I'm going to be able to punish them for that next time. I just need a bigger hand than them. But I should be able to detect weakness because they had a strong hand and they played it very weak. So typically that type of player, they're going to play a weaker hand, a little bit stronger. So I'm going to know it's weaker, so I'm going to punch them in the mouth figuratively. Just by using astute reasoning, right? Okay, so I'm going to see. I like to see many flops and try to outplay my opponents. I try not to rely on the cards or luck too much. I try to make all my decisions after the fact, going forward. Based on pattern recognition and historical similarities, I guess. Some of those people freeze up here, so I'm going to seize the initiative should I have an opportunity. So they checked. Okay, so that guy didn't freeze up, so he could have something big.
Man, I just saved our life with this one.
That was a stinky one?
Holy shit.
So it was nice how Trapper Jim, with his name, he likes to trap, right? So sometimes people do tell you their gameplay based on their name. But Trapper Jim's playing the best at the table out of my opponents so far. walking inside here, so I need to switch the screen. One color so far, not bad. Two colors. So if it cuts out abruptly, I just ran out of space, so there'll be a part two. Kind of the lull of the tournament, if you will. I don't really have enough chips to be like completely super active. So basically, if you're new to poker, you wanna have good starting hands. You want to think about your kicker. If when you make a pair, the second card's called a kicker. And if you make two pair, then that's even better. But that's only the third worst hand out of 10. Hand rank number 3 out of 10. you increase the odds of you winning by betting, which you get folds. This is a mediocre hand, right? Like, I like to be active, and the table's pretty reserved, right? As they usually are in tournaments. I'm usually one of the more active players at the table because I like to play different spots, different situations. Wow. Nobody raised. I will. Show the queen. So it's just always you're always trying to figure out how many outs you have, and that's gives you the probability. You could figure out, and then once you know the probability, then you can figure out the pot odds, and then there's the implied odds, and then the expected value. So you gotta know here in this. So let's see what the definition of implied odds, because it's something that I just utilize, and I don't know the verbatim definition. Pardon me. So let's see. Unlikely to win this. So I'll just get the definitions. Implied odds are calculated in situations where the player expects to fold in the following round if the draw is missed, thereby losing no additional bets, but it expects to gain additional bets when the draw is made. Okay, so when you're gonna fold, if you hit, you're gonna keep on expected value. In the game of poker, the expected value is the average return of each dollar invested in the pot. Each time a player makes a bet or call, they're taking into account the probability of making more money than they invest. So the average return on each dollar invested in the pot. Does that make sense? If you have pocket aces and you risk, like, the expected value would be higher with pocket aces over 7 deuce, because you should make more money proportionally, unless it's a well-timed bluff with 7 deuce. So if you invest $1 and you make $5 with pocket aces, but if you invest $1 with 7 deuce and you make negative $6, right? You would see the difference in value between those two scenarios. Like Queen 4. Like if you're not a good poker player, you play Queen 4 all the time, then over the long run, you're going to lose a lot of money. Like, the expected value would be very low. The reasons why I would play a hand like Queen 4 is because I'm experienced, so I'm playing the situation, not the cards. And I'm playing players' tendencies since the beginning of the session, how active they are, how aggressive they are, how likely they are to win a hand, how likely I am to win a hand, and how people played like situations like this historically against me, however I fared, what was my expected value in those situations, ballparking it, like just I don't look at it as a dollar figure, like, consciously, like I look at it, or even subconsciously, some levels I look at it as maybe like high, medium, or low. Or most likely, and is the main thing, or less likely, or never. Like, when you have the nuts, you never should fold, but if you're a beginner, you're gonna fold the winners sometimes. That's why apps like this, they don't give you the option to muck cards, right? So it kind of sucks for like the better players because inexperienced players would be folding their cards all the time. So they'd be folding the winner. But apps like this, they don't allow players to suck like they should. Right? If they're not paying attention or if they're not astute, they shouldn't have the app allow them not to fold. And the flip side of the coin is like if you don't want to be in a hand, you don't want to be having to wait there to check every turn while you want to go wash your hands or do something else real quickly. Put something in the microwave, whatever, right? So you want to be able to muck your cards when you're not interested. But it rewards the stronger players because then, weak players aren't going to end up rivering them when they would have folded on the flop. I'm hoping to make a poker app actually because poker connoisseur, I've downloaded many poker apps and kind of evaluated them. There's things that I like about them that aren't really intellectual property. They're just things that like a casino or apps typically, or like what I would see on TVs. I'm trying to. I want to make a poker app that's more of an experience than what it is on the app. Right? Like they kind of just want to churn out hands like so fast. Like I want to appreciate the moment. Like this app, for instance, when you go all in, it doesn't show you the percentages, right? So that doesn't help you learn, basically. Because when you learn the percentages, you're like, okay, so this is typically what it is when somebody has a top pair on the flop versus a flush draw. So then you're like, okay, I put my opponent on the flush draw. I have top pair. I know I'm such and such a favorite because the app told me that's the percentage previously, and I was able to recall it and utilize it in the future. So it's like, advantageous. Like, the more stats you could show, how often they like their fold frequency, their raise frequency, how many hands they played, their winning percentage. Like if you had those stats, right, an experienced player like myself would utilize it against my opponents, and where an inexperienced player is not going to be able to utilize it. Because like if they raise lots, they're going to have a higher winning percentage. So it's either they're really good or they're really rich. That's pretty much how that goes. If it's abnormally high, like if it's skillfully high, then it's skill. But if it's abnormally high, like if somebody's around 40%, say 5-handed, and they're playing around 38%, they're probably cheating. There's a high probability they're cheating at that point.
This is a bad spot. Hey.
Like I've been ranked pretty high on many websites, like Legendary Master. Well, go by with Crisco because on this one poker website there were 16 leagues. Pro was 9, League 9, and Mythical was League 16. And I was ranked 212th out of, and there was over 10 million downloads. Not cheating. right? So a certain percentage of my opponents that were better than me were cheats with brain computer interface and depending on the app, right? Some apps you could unfortunately they phone their friend on the phone and sit down at the table and collude, and it's pretty easy to pick off those players though, because they one of them raises to get people out, and then the other one folds, and then they don't show the pot, and they split the winnings. And but it's a known, it's very easy for the app to pick up those type of players because they're always sitting at the same table. Or they could be in the same room even, right? Yeah, so they employed the pump and dump strategy to try to mislead people and rip them off. And the whole fun of poker is trying to figure out your opponent's cards, right? And like, sure, you can win money at poker, but it's not like you could like the richest poker players probably don't have what they've earned overall in their bank account. I'll just show you what prove it to you here. Let's see. All-time money winner, Texas. $80 million total earnings. 80 million total earnings. What was his name again? Brendan Kenny. 80 million. So Kenny net worth, let's see, it should be over 80 million, right? So 70 million bucks, they're saying. So that's not too bad if that's the case. He won 80 million and he was able to bank 70. That's pretty phenomenal, right? And he would have had some endorsements and things like that, right? Like, but a lot of people, it's so easy to if you win, see, like if you win the World Series of Poker, you're gonna feel on top of the world. You're gonna think you're the best poker player on the planet, and you're not even gonna you're gonna want to anyways play in $1 million tournament. If one was coming up, you're gonna be like, I'm the best. I just beat 8,000 people. I'm on fire. This is my year. Why the fuck not? Right then you lose sometimes. So that being said, if you ever do win lots of money in poker, make sure you get a franchise or something like that. Find a franchise. Go on a trip somewhere. Like if you live on the East Coast, go to the West Coast. See some new little franchise that you never seen before, and start it up on the East Coast or vice versa. It's something that you like just the same that you don't have in your area. Like I was in IKEA yesterday, and there was almost 100% utilization of their parking lot. So if I ever had an opportunity to get a franchise, like an IKEA franchise, would be one of the ones I would choose. It's almost like when you go to the beach and you're looking for parking. Right, like that's how scarce the parking was at an IKEA. And the craftsmanship for the price point is phenomenal. So I'm hoping to go very deep in this tournament, like win it deep. How about this? Don't. I can't break out singing because then I break some copyright rules. So I have to use my funny voice instead. Okay. What about this call here? Well, there's, if you're new to my channel, there's, sometimes it's, you have to be suspicious of somebody who makes a suspicious move in poker. A suspicious move in poker is when they're a fish. And another term I'm trying to make resonate in the poker circles is when you're at the cash table and they take your money and leave. I call it dining and dashing. They dine and dash. You don't even have a chance to feel full. There's nothing worse than that. Like you know, when you want to play in a tournament and like a real tournament, cash tournament, and you look forward to it, and then you have an early exit, and you haven't satiated, quenched your hunger for playing poker that day. It sucks. But if you're satisfied, you played enough hands, and you're like, hey, I improved. There's not too many spots I would have changed. Then it's much easier to accept. Because it is easier online in a way, because you can see all players equally, right? Like you just could see how many chips they have, the back of their card, and how long it takes for them to make decisions. So those are the psychological tells, right? Is how long it takes them to make decisions, how often they raise, do they fold to bets easily. There's lots of psychological tells, and especially at the casino, right? It's their physical like body language, then their tone of voice. There's a thing called the tell, and the tell is when you're able to pick up a tendency on your opponent. basically when you're playing poker, you're constantly looking for their tendencies. And the best way to do it's when you're not in the pot. Like right now, I'm not in the pot, right? So these two opponents, one might try a move and then try the same move on me, and I might see the result of this to educate me in the future. So you got to pay attention. But I'm getting to the point where I need to win a hand. This Marlin Jack, they blew me off the winning hand, which was a nice play. So that could be the turning point in this tournament.
No, thank you.
That's a big bet. Pot size bet. So most of the time in poker, right, you have outs, and so the outs might, your fraction, a good fraction might be, you might win, say, one time out of two. So when he made a pot size bet, and you can only win one time out of two, if you call, you're making a poor mathematical decision long term. But are you making the right decision in the short term? That's what makes poker so hard. Because they could be bluffing. Because if you only have a 50% chance of winning, you're going to be wrong half the time, right? So if you're calling like you're going to be right 100% of the time, you're going to be losing half the time. You're going to materialize that loss, basically. Whereas if you were fooled, then you cut the loss, you minimized it, improving your bankroll situation in the future. That's what poker's all about, is maintaining your bankroll and building it, and so be strategic at a franchise if you come into lots of money, and so you have money coming in every month. Get some property, rent it out, and yeah. Because with poker, it's kind of feast or famine, right? You're gonna go through a long period of time where you're not winning too often. That's why you need to start learning how to play cards like Queen 4, because so you can survive during the drought, during the famines. So good luck to me. So this is called the dead man's hand, so this is probably the last hand. Typically you lose here. Promising so far. Okay, so now I think the river's gonna spoil the parade today. So there's a 4 of a kind, 3 full houses, a flush, and I only have top pair. And lower kicker. Oh, I can rebuy. Nice. Fantastic if I have enough chips. And I do. got really unlucky in a 5,500 tournament today, and I stopped playing cash games on this site, so I don't really build a bankroll because I'm playing tournaments so often, and it doesn't matter how good you are in tournaments, you can't always win. You do get unlucky with the math eventually. But the goal is to just try to gain experience with play money. So once you try to translate it to real money, tournaments where you win big, where you think like I won 3 tournaments with over 1,000 opponents, and 2 of them were for play money, and 1 was for real money. It was just a small amount of real money, but the psychology is used, but just the pressure based on the rate. But so I guess it's not quite the same psychology because the pressure psychology is different. But the tournament's psychology is the same, right? Like there's the beginning of the tournament where there's a lot of weaker players, and then there's the bubble right before the money. Then there's right after the bubble where people play loose, and there's some players that are playing to win the tournament, and other players are just happy to be in the money. And then there's nears the final table, like quality players, like even for play money, right? If you play against 1,000 people, right, playing poker, right? Imagine once it comes down to the top 10, they're probably fairly decent players, right? Just beat out 990 other opponents, right? And I won around the same time, like on Poker Stars, I won a tournament with 1,252 players play money, and then I won a $5 and a $10 tournament, and they were both all 3 of them were about the same difficulty level, and they took about 5.5 hours to win, all 3 of them. Right, so you have to play solid poker for about 5.5 hours, right? I think that's quite a bit of time, right? Like you're playing probably 30 plus hands. You're playing and you're surviving, getting eliminated. So this must be the end of the registration because that buy-in hasn't really resulted in the very waste the play chips. Yeah, I need to win a couple hands in a row. I'm pretty sure it's whatever I say in my videos dictates when organized crime wants me to finish the tournament. I'm trying to reveal it all the time in the description of these videos. Okay, I'm just gonna pause it. So it's 3 minutes. I'm gonna go for a smoke, so I might come back and I might miss a hand or two. But if I blind off, it's kind of a terrible way to end the video. But it's been a solid video strategy wise, and in for what I mentioned in the video. So I'm going to post it either way. Well, here we go. Doesn't look like I'm going to get much better than this, so I'm going to run with it. My odds are slim because it's unlikely I pressured my opponents to fold, but I may get lucky. Like, chances are right now I'm leading, but by the time the river comes, then it's more than likely a different result, different winner. You know, it looks like I'm gonna have 4 opponents. No, 3, because one guy's sitting out. Nice. So that slightly did improve. So far they have to have a king. So if they don't bet here, then it's unlikely they have the king. They bet, so it's likely now that they have something. That guy most likely has the king. It just raised. So what does this guy do? It's looking like he's folding. Okay, so hopefully they don't have a heart. And so he's checking. Did he freeze with the ace coming? No, well, he didn't freeze. He bet, so, you know, he looks like he has the winner. But what about the river? How does it shape up on the river? No, it did not shape up too well. Hopefully the guy that was raising betting only has a pair of 7s. Which is unlikely. He absolutely had the winner though. So that's gonna be the end of the video, and have a great day. Go to change.org/youcouldbeahero, and then be one by signing the petition, making it go viral, and stopping organized crime by taking money out of their pockets.